Hello, floralpreneurs. I'm like 30 seconds early. So I'm gonna hope you can hear me and feel free to leave a comment to let me know that you can hear me if you can. If you are tuning in live, we are going to talk about some marketing tips for floral designers today. And really, we're going to talk about marketing tips for anybody with a business because nothing is really exclusive in terms of marketing. In fact, I think some of the best marketing tips are tips you pull from places that aren't just within your industry. So these marketing tips for florists may help people in another industry just because. I will see if you can hear me, if you can give me like a thumbs up or leave a comment that just says I can hear you. That would be super helpful. Because you just never know when you're live streaming. You could be streaming and talking to yourself. If you are, whether you're tuning in live or on a replay, I appreciate you being here to watch. I'm Allison Ellis of realflowerbusiness.com, and we're going to be talking about marketing tips for florists. We're going to be talking about your business and your ideal customers, and then where you go from here. Because it's nice when people give tips. However, it's so much better when people actually, thank you, Vanessa. I appreciate the thumbs up. You can hear me. It's really nice when people actually give you something you can do. So instead of just, hey, those were some great tips, how do I implement? I really like to make sure I keep things real with you, keep tips practical, keep them actionable. So let me dive in. First, before I dive into, there's some things on my mind. I don't have like a checklist for you. I'm not going to lie. I didn't sit here and prepare some script of what I want to say today because there's a lot of things I want to say. You can also leave a comment or ask a question if you would like to help steer the conversation if there's something specific on your mind. But what you should know is that I'm teaching a marketing workshop. In fact, you see all these names here, these names, which I'll show you, like there's more of them, they go up. These are people who are joining me for my marketing workshop next week. So I'm teaching a 3-day workshop with marketing tips, especially for florists. 45 minutes a day. It's not gonna break you, okay? And here's why I'm doing it, and here's why I'm mentioning it up front. Because it's really going to be the best, most effective, easiest, and least expensive way to up your marketing game before the end of the year. So one of the things that I see florists doing, and I talked about it a bit today. I've talked about it in most of my posts over the last couple of weeks, if you've been following me. We are confusing social media and activity that is social media activity with marketing. And it's becoming kind of detrimental to the way that florists are doing business, to the way that you're doing business, perhaps. And it's not your fault if you fell into a little bit of a social media trap, right? Like if you fell into the I'm just following what everybody else is doing social media thing, you're not alone. That's the intention of it. So don't feel bad if you have been just kind of trying to imitate and keep up with what other people are doing on social media. We all do it, right? Myself included. We all do that. However, we need to be really aware of what we're putting out into the world, okay? Because the real breakthrough when you actually get your marketing and your branding to be like on par with the type of client you're trying to actually attract. The real trick is like understanding what your ideal client needs to hear in order to like get to know you, like you, trust you, and buy from you. And so when you know what those things are, those are the only things you really need to be saying, right? I did a live chat last week with Deborah Prinzing of Slow Flowers. If you didn't see that, you'll find it on my blog. You'll also find it on the Slow Flowers Society Instagram feed. we talked about some of my pet peeves, so I won't rehash them all here. But one of the things we talked about is, we really have florists really are being kind of led astray into talking about things that are more complainy and they're more about not your customer than they are about your customer. So, what I mean by that are the posts where you're really over explaining budget or where you're pointing to prices and breaking them down or where it's just, flashing, this is how much a wedding costs. I would love for you to just cease doing that. May I please, pretty please, with sugar on top, ask you, every florist out there, every wedding florist out there, please stop just flashing prices around unless what you're trying to communicate is that you sell stuff that's expensive. And unless you can afford this, don't come and knocking at my door. Okay. You have to be really, really, really confident and have super high sales and have a lot of stuff on lock before you want to be putting out that message. So, really, please, from my toes, consider that the only messaging you want to put out there, your breakthrough when you're really doing marketing well, is that you're only talking to your ideal client, something that's going to light them up, something that's going to solve a problem that they're having, something that's going to irritate a little pain point for them. And they'll go, oh, but they'll go, this person knows where I am right now. Okay. That's what you want to do. Something that positions you as the expert. But just pointing around because other people are pointing around at prices and saying, like, hey, we're worth it. It's not a good look in general. Okay. Like, I don't necessarily want to know, like, I don't want to see, how messy the baker's kitchen is, right? Like, the baker works really hard too. She's not showing me, here's how much flour I need. Look at how big this bag of flour is that I have to carry into my kitchen. And look at this mess and all these dishes I have to clean, right? It's not sexy. Sell me that cake. Sell me that sugar high. Sell me right? What do I want? I want the cake. I don't want the story about how hard you work to make the cake. You're doing the same thing, perhaps, if you're falling into these social media traps of following what everybody else is doing. Okay. So, I thought about a lot of different things to say today with tips. There are things you can do to just close the year strong. The most effective thing you can do to close the year strong is join me with all these florists in my marketing workshop next week. But simple things are going to be focused on who your client is. Get obsessed with them. What are they like? Where do they hang out? What kind of budget do they have? What are they looking for from you? What are they looking for from others? How do they want to feel? What do they want other people to think about them? Right? Things that the deep-seated things they would never admit. You should know those things about your ideal customer because then when you do, you know that you don't have to go pointing and talking about price and telling them how hard you work because they already value the finished product, right? They value what you do. They already like you because you've been talking directly to their heart this whole time. The more we do that, the stronger we get at really speaking to our clients in their heart, hitting them in the heartstrings, the easier it becomes to craft a message. So let me give you an example. So today I have a post out on Instagram and Facebook. And if you're on my email list, because you've bought a course recently, you got it in your inbox, that luxury is not what you think it is, right? Luxury. You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. That's my title. So I'm promoting a marketing workshop, right? I'm talking about marketing things with my audience, you. Thanks for being here. But here's the thing. I would love to pretend that I wrote that post like 2 months ago because I was ready for this marketing workshop, right? You guys, I'm so on top of things. I wrote that post 2 months ago because I was so ready. I knew that's what I wanted to talk about. It's not true. I wrote it yesterday. In fact, I had this idea about the luxury thing because it's kind of been sticking in my craw. I had a little line about it. Then I came up with something a little better. Then I wrote a whole post about it. The only reason that I could do that, and here's why I'm saying it, because I'm getting a lot of response. I've gotten emails back, I've gotten comments, right? So it's like resonating, which is like, hi, good job, girl, you did it, right? That's the goal. It's the goal of this social media post, okay? But the thing that, and I'm glad about that, but the thing that is the best for me about it, as I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to prep and I'm going to talk to you about marketing tips. The thing about it is I didn't have to agonize about it. I didn't plan way in advance. Ideas come to me and I am able to like process it and have my own opinion about it and put it out there for you, not by accident, because I practice doing this over and over and over again, right? I practice and I constantly put myself out there in a way that shows up. So instead of, telling you what kind of Barbie I am, I'm telling you an original message that you haven't heard someplace else that I'm able to generate because I'm really super in tune with two things: who I am and who you are. Okay. Because I know that most of the florists, of the, you know, 13,000 people that are in my Facebook group, of the people who follow me on social media or subscribe on my email list, most of you are not doing $30,000 floral budgets every weekend, right? So I know, I know what's real versus what isn't. So, like, I would never put out a post where I'm talking to you and telling you that what your goal should be is to get into the luxury market. And here's how you're going to do it. I would never do that because, well, one, I'm real, right? I'm real and I don't do that. So I'm not going to try to teach you something I don't do. But even more, it's because I know that's not what you really want to do either. Some of you do, right? So there's going to be a person out there who's like, I do. I want to manage people. I want to have a team. I don't want to design. I just want to direct, right? You might want to do $30,000 weddings. I want to do weddings that fit in my van and that I make a lot of money that week and that, I'm still able to be home for dinner on Saturday evening, right? Home by 4 or whatever. So, everyone has to know what works for them and what works for their customer. And the more you know that, the more you practice that, the more you do that, the better you get at marketing and building your brand. So I talk a lot about this, particularly in my marketing workshop with people in my Art of Good Business program, like Kristen. I see your question here. Do Patreon members get this? I'm going to post replays, Kristen, of the marketing workshop in Patreon. So you'll be able to see them there. Anybody who joined me last year for the marketing workshop, I sent out an email. I'll send another one, but you just had to like click on a link and it would automatically add you to the list for this year's workshop. So if you bought it last year, you don't have to rebuy. If you're on Patreon, you'll get the replays. But if you want to actually join live, participate, and do all that stuff, that the course is for sale in my shop. If you just go to realflowerbusiness.com, it's the first button you're going to see, and it's only $57 for the marketing workshop. So the reason I make this marketing workshop really affordable is because it's such important information. And I just want to get as many people to join me as possible, frankly, because what I would love to see is a change in the way people are talking to their clients, the way that people are talking about their business. Because while it seems like, right, it seems like, well, if I'm telling you that I know what I'm worth, this arbor, this bouquet, this is what it costs, right? If I'm telling you that, then I am owning my value. But is that really what it feels like to the person who's taking in this post? Or do they feel something else? Do they feel a defensiveness? Do they feel like you're kind of scolding them that you don't appreciate them when they haven't reached out to work with you yet. And they already feel like you're yelling at them. Okay. So really, 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 really important. Okay. Really, 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 really important to do. Um, the other, another thing when we're talking about marketing, what is your goal? Okay. So, like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to get 30 weddings before the end of next year? Or are you looking to get 5? Right? Because all marketing can't just be one size fits all. The person who is selling, Christmas trees and wreaths and has a whole lot full of things, right? Their marketing is going to be different than somebody who's just doing 20 weddings a year. So you have to know, again, yourself and who you're selling to before you follow a trend. Okay. And I really want to make sure that as you're thinking about where to go from here, the first thing you do, because social media is what we always think about, but social media ain't it. It's not the only thing. Instagram's not it. TikTok's not it, because your future customer, the customer of 3 to 5 years from now, may not be on either of those platforms. I don't know. Maybe they will be, right? Maybe they will be, but you don't know it. And neither do I. So where should you be? I'm going to give you a second to think. Where should you be putting your marketing attention if your future customer may not be on social media the way that you're on social media right now? I'll give you a topic to discuss. Okay, but seriously, it's your website, okay? Your website needs to be your brand's hub. It's where the best stuff is. So head there, start there before you're even like, okay, back up. Start by deleting posts. I don't even care if it got a lot of likes. If they're all from florists, they're not buying anything from you. Delete the posts on pricing. Okay. Because unless someone who spent a lot of money with you liked that post, I want you to remove it. Okay. It's okay to delete things. Really important to know. It is okay to delete things that do not actually serve your customer. All right. So keep that in mind. Then I want you to go to your about page. All right. Inside the marketing workshop, by the way, when you're signed up, there's some 11 tips for your about page. Like, you can get them right away. It's so important that your about page speaks to your ideal client, isn't just a bio, doesn't tell me all this boring stuff about like your childhood, no offense. Because while that stuff might actually be interesting and may even add to my interest in working with you, you got like 3 seconds. 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. Before I've decided if I'm bored and I'm out, right? So we really want that first impression on the website, on the about page, to capture your client, okay? So I've got some tips on how you can do that. But that's really the first thing that you want to go to, okay? So head there and see what's out of date. Do you need to just update like what year it is that you're in business? How many years you've been a designer, right? It may be that you won an award, you're like, hey, we just won this brand new award in 2013. You may need to like adjust that to, history timeline instead of current phrasing, all right? Because it's easy to lose sight of what's important when social media is trying to pull you. Come on, point to prices. Come on, don't you want to do it? Everybody else is doing it, right? And that's one of the things I want to mention. Again, one of the just sort of thoughts I've had as I'm thinking about marketing and thinking about how to talk to you about marketing and why it is so important to not keep pushing this off as something that like isn't relevant to you because you're a floral designer, not a marketer. Okay. You're a marketer. If you own a business, you got to market it. Okay. So everyone else is doing it. That's where my train started to derail here. So is everyone else doing it? What it made me think of is like as a kid, like when your parents would say like, well, if everybody else jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge, Al, would you do it? And I'd be like, yeah, right? Depending on how old I was, right? How mature I was. So in elementary school, when my dad says, if everybody else jumps off the Brooklyn Bridge, would you do it? Yeah. Okay. So that may be where you're at in your marketing journey. You may be in that, like, I'm just a kid. I'm just figuring this out. So I'm just kind of, if they're jumping off a cliff, I'm going to jump off too. I am going to talk about pricing. But then you get a little bit older, right? And it's like, well, if everybody else jumped off the bridge, would you? Well, I don't know. I'm in high school now. I don't really need to do that, right? I'm getting more mature. I've got a couple of ideas of like what I would say and how I would sound. And that's not it, right? So you have a bit of a compass. So there might be some times where you're tempted to jump, but for the most part, you kind of know how to make sure you stay safe, right? And then you get to the point where you're really mature. Your brand's mature. Your marketing has come into its own. You know that you don't have to do what everybody else is doing. And here's the thing. That's what marketing is meant to be. Something that sets you apart and distinguishes you. But the social media is for blending in. The social media is for fun. How many of you have fun posting on social media? So here's the thing. I got some questions back from people who signed up for the marketing workshop already. If you haven't done that, there's still time to sign up. I'd love to have you there. But they're answering questions, they're sharing some feedback. And how many times do you post on Instagram? 1 to 2 times a week is so far the biggest majority of people. And let me just tell you, that is down even just from last year in terms of how often people said they posted on social media. Okay. So if social media isn't it, you have to have some other plan, right? So that's where the marketing workshop for florists that I'm going to teach, it's 3 days, Monday, December 4th, the 5th, the 6th. There's a bonus session on the 7th. And I'm actually going to also do a little pre-party this Friday just to get us pumped up because it's important to be pumped up for the things that you enroll in. It doesn't matter if you enroll in the marketing workshop if you don't implement what we talk about and teach. And so here's why I'm here to support you through it, because I know it's intimidating to share your voice sometimes, right? Like I posted today that luxury is not what you think it is, and that you're already in a luxury market because there is no one who has to buy your flowers in order to survive. Okay. You could try to argue with me, but no one has to have flowers to get married. No one has to have flowers to have dinner, right? No one has to have flowers even at a funeral. Everything that you sell is a luxury, is someone choosing to invest in your artistry, in your talent, choosing that what you do brings something significant to their life, to their event, to whatever they're doing. Okay. So you're there. You're there. Now, I did this post. I'd love if you would read it. The Instagram one I had to shorten because, limited characters, because it's not it. Okay. My email list or even over on Facebook. I should just add it to my blog for you as well. There are things to really think about, though, when it comes to what it means to define luxury. And I'm pushing back on that idea in this post. I could get negative response, you guys. For shame, but it's true, right? I don't know when I'm posting it what somebody might say back. They might say, you don't know what you're talking about, right? So far, that hasn't happened. But if it did, I'm okay. I'm ready for it. Again, it's a lot of practice and it's a lot of knowing what feels true and only doing what feels true. So when you're like, I don't want to post on social media because that feels fake and phony, I get it, right? If posting on social media is not fun for you, I don't have an original idea. I don't know what to say. What if I say something and people don't agree with it, right? It's hard. It's hard. That's why I did a post again. I've been thinking about this, right? Thinking about what it takes to do all this. Business ownership requires bravery. It requires bravery. It's brave to do, it's brave to do this live stream. Okay. Every little thing is a step of bravery for you. When you went and got your business license, when you went to the wholesaler for the first time, right? When you asked a question, when you booked your first client who wasn't a friend, right? It all is bravery. And it's easy to lose sight of that, and to just say, well, that it takes what it takes, right? It does. It takes what it takes. And also, you deserve some credit. So I really want you to take a minute to give yourself credit for all the times you've shown up bravely, even if you've done the thing that I've asked you to please never do again, which is posted about pricing in a frivolous way that doesn't actually speak to the heart of your ideal client, right? It's all brave. And we're going to make mistakes sometimes. We're going to post the wrong thing. We're going to say the wrong thing. We might book the wrong client because we thought we wanted this big thing, but actually, this is more we're in over our head, or vice versa. This client is not nearly spending enough money for the headache that I'm having. But for the most part, what we want to do is bring in the best clients for you, which means it's different for everybody. For some people, that's going to be the people who just want to drive by your farm stand and grab a bouquet. For other people, it's going to be people who subscribe to your delivery service. For others, it's going to be those like 10 to 20 perfect wedding clients. And for others, you're looking for like 150 weddings this year. God bless you, by the way. I don't know how you do it, but there are florists who do that. They just do like 100 weddings or more. So the way you talk to your client is going to be vastly different in all of these scenarios, which I hope feels obvious and makes sense to you. So if anything I'm saying doesn't make sense, please let me know in a comment. But the most important thing is to position yourself as an expert, as someone that can be trusted, as someone who knows what that your client is facing, and like how you make it easier for them. Okay. So just to wrap up, because I don't want to keep you here all day. And honestly, I could talk for 3 more hours on this. Maybe that's why I'm doing that marketing workshop for 3 days next week. I really would love for you to join me for the marketing workshop. I don't want to just joke over that, like, haha, that's why I'm teaching a workshop. I really am teaching the workshop to help take you further faster when it comes to the way you think about your brand and the way you communicate your message. Because if right now what you're doing is like wasting time following trends and it's kind of sucking the life out of you, you might actually be missing where your good luxury clients are already. Okay. You may be missing what it is that you need to be saying to them so they don't even hear you. All right. So, that's what it looks like right now on social media. It looks like a place that is confusing, right? It looks like a place that is talking down to people, or that is trying to be funny about how hard we work, but in a way that actually kind of points out to the client that you don't know anything about what it takes to do what I do, right? Your clients, if you're anything like me, your clients, okay, so like I talked with a couple weeks ago. And maybe it wasn't a couple weeks ago, maybe it was a week ago. But anyway, I talked to a couple, and the planner inquired, shared some details. They met while getting their PhDs. Okay. Do these people need to be talked down to about price, right? How are they going to receive? So, like, these are the things you want to be thinking about, right? Like, how is your client want to be talked to? Carissa, I'm so excited. She's looking forward to taking your marketing workshop again this year. I'm so excited you're there. Your name is on my wall. You know it is. You know it is. And as you move forward from here today, here's what I want you to think about. Think about this marketing workshop because it's for you. Think about your about page and what's on there that needs to be more hooky. How do you hook them in? Again, when you sign up for the marketing workshop, you get 11 tips for your about page right away. And then go into your Instagram bio, because I know that I want to talk about all the time how Instagram isn't it. But meanwhile, have you noticed how many times I've talked about my posting on Instagram? Because while it isn't the only thing, it's still a thing and it still needs to happen. I love once or twice a week. I think that's very healthy for your business, especially if you're not someone who's, bringing clients in from Instagram constantly. But head to your Instagram bio and take a look there too. Are you establishing yourself as an authority? Are you really clear about who you serve? And are you in any way communicating like what kind of transformation you make for your clients? Like, we take your small ideas and turn them into your dream flowers, for example, is way more compelling in your bio than something that just says, florist in whatever town, even though that's really important too, right? We want to know where you're located. Let's see. Amanda says, thanks for doing this workshop. It's just exactly the info I need. Can't wait. Oh, Amanda, I'm so excited. Yeah, this is the thing. It is really easy at the end of the year to fall off. Okay. Super easy. I have said this a million times. I say this almost every year. This would be a great time for me to just curl up into a ball. Okay. I even have a scarf on in my office. It's chilly. But here's the deal. This is when I get active. When I want to slow down, that's when I start to pick up speed. So we're going to talk about marketing from now to the end of the year to bring you some of the best clients. And in January, that's when I really dig in even deeper in my course called The Art of Good Business, where we do 4 weeks of training on branding and marketing. But one thing at a time, one step at a time. We're going to start with marketing. Start with marketing next week. If you're already enrolled in the marketing workshop, thank you so much. I will see you on Friday for the pre-party at noon. Then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at noon, and Thursday for a bonus. All right, we're going to do great work. Also, people in VIP, I'll see you at 1:30 each day on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We are going to do some good work together. So really, truly, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you want to sign up for the marketing workshop, realflowerbusiness.com, you're going to find a link right there that says marketing workshop. Questions for me? I'm here to support you. Okay. I am here to support you. The marketing workshop will be recorded if you can't join me live, but I bet you're going to find a way to join me live for at least one of those sessions. I just have a feeling. Okay. So don't let a lack of time hold you back from reaching your branding and marketing goals this year. This is work I do every year. Okay. I just mentioned the course I teach in January, The Art of Good Business. I teach that course every January. I don't do it for my health. I do it because it actually helps keep me accountable to myself and both of my businesses. And everything that I teach you, everything that I talk about, is stuff I really do. So I just really want you to know that from the bottom of my heart. I would never come here and start telling you to do things that I don't actually do, because that would be real sketchy. So keep doing beautiful work. I'll see some of you in the marketing workshop. And even if I don't, thank you so much for joining me here. Thanks for being a part of my community. All these beautiful, again, it's like more than I can even show. I had to go up this year because I have a kitten. And if I go low, I think already some of y'all down here are going to get your names knocked off. I'll be looking for you though. I'll be putting you back on the wall every time I need to. Again, thanks so much for watching. Keep doing beautiful work. See you in the workshop.